Nice. Yeah, yeah. Always got to remember mom.
Yes, I love my mother. One of a kind. Yep.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. My mom put up with all the drumming right as a kid, and she used to say that she could sleep. She worked nights, and she could sleep on the couch above where the drums were because she knew I was home. if she heard drums,
Wow.
if she heard drums, she knew I was home and I was safe.
Yo, that is, I,
That's deep,
and
right?
that reminded me of my childhood because I remember, like, I started playing at 4 years old, and I remember when I started, like, I knew early that that's something that I wanted to get into, and I just started shedding whoever I was into. At that time, it was the gospel drummers, of course, Dana Davis from Detroit, Michigan, played with a group called the Winans,
Yeah.
the legendary Winans. Marvin Winans, their history, they got a legacy. BB and CC, they're all from that lineage. But Dana Davis, he was a pocket master, and then there was another drummer I used to watch. I used to go see these people too. Michael Williams from a group called Commissioned with
wow.
Fred Hammond. So those drummers, they played on all the records, a lot of the records, until I started eventually getting introduced to like East Coast gospel drummers, and even like Kenny Phelps from Indiana State Choir. But at that particular time, coming up as a kid, my dad, he built me like a little workstation in my room, and I was still into basketball, like I could hoop, but all my friends, they were really into the NBA, and I was just in that room. They were downstairs hooping, and I was in that room
Wow.
on my little workstation playing. I had my little Debbie cake snacks. snacks. I would go to school, come home with my little Debbie cake snacks, and then I would put my favorite audio music on, and I would play along to it, and I would try to mimic all the stuff that I heard. And I had a reputation of having a good memory, even as a kid. It was like, yo, Daru, he can hear something one time, and he can play it. That was until I started learning about the jazz drummers, and that was another story because there was a lot more notes.
Right. Yeah, but like on that early on, I mean, you started playing, I think, when you were 4 years old, right?
Yes.
So
yes, yes, sir.
At that point, when the seed got planted, and I think you mentioned that one of your cousins also played drums, right? In church?
And I have so many uncles and cousins that play. So when I would go to church, everybody was waiting in line.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that movie. Have you saw a movie called Whiplash?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know the part where he's talking about if you're dragging up or you're speeding up in church, that was a big thing. So if you were dragging a beat, you were getting slid off. The next drummer was coming on to take your spot.
Oh my God.
You would not want to. It's embarrassing because everybody would see you. And that only had to happen to me one or two times. And I was like, I do not want to be, be in a number. But what I liked about my childhood, and I'm thankful, I seen different styles because my uncle, at least three of my uncles played, two of my uncles, and I have a lot of cousins that played, but because we would play this what you call worship music, which is it's like a shout music, and it's like it's hard to explain. It's like people worshiping, dancing. It's like a metal, but not as intense as metal, but it's fast.
right.
And I grew up Pentecostal, and sometimes that worship music would go for a half an hour.
Yeah.
That repetitious beat. So drummers would get tired. So that's why the next drummer would be waiting in line. Anyway, basically, like when you're watching an NBA game and the players get tired, they see that they're not making the best decision. Maybe I'd be tired. The referee, let's bring the next guy in. So that's how it was at church. When one drummer, was getting tired, the next drummer was coming in. Or if they was dragging the beat or playing it too fast, and that vocalist is saying, pick it up.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
It's like having the bench, and you get benched, right? And then they bring
it's like being at the Apollo and stuff without you don't get the siren going off.
So man, like the kind of gospel that you were playing, and I've heard in different interviews, people say, yeah, that was pre-Pro Tools or that was pre-Gospel Chops or that was pre-YouTube.
Yes.
But it was all those things and more traditional gospel. And so not what, because it's really funny, man, what kids think gospel is now. They just think of Gospel Chops, right? And it's like
fusion gospel.
Yeah. And that's not the gig. The gig is, like you said, playing energy,
worship. But
groove.
you know what? You know what it is too? It's just a different day. Everybody worship differently, and the
Right.
level is just shifted. So it ain't no diss. I'm just glad I got a chance to see both sides, and
Yeah.
for the most part, it's all about what I learned at my church is it's all about giving your best
Yeah.
to the Creator. That's how you dress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you dress your best, you talk your best, and you treat your body as a temple.
Yeah.
And you perform and you praise at the highest temple. So that's what it's about. So just at that time, that was the level of the gospel. It wasn't not a lot of notes, but it was just about more. I don't want to say dancing, but it's worship music is dance music pretty much.
Yeah.
They just using it to praise, and people still worship right now, even though it's a lot of more notes. But it's just see when I came up, it was not no praise team. It was like there's praise teams now, but back in the days, it was just one choir would sing, you know what I'm saying? And you had the person that was singing some solos, but that was it. But now you got a lot of pre-gaming.
Yeah.
You have like the worship dances. It's like it's like a musical at service pretty much, like a concert, but in like a concert, but in the church form, if that makes any sense.
Right. Stepping up the production value.
Exactly. It's like when
God.
you have your opener act and then you have other acts, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it became from what I can see.